Hello and welcome to another episode of Nostalgic Nick-Nacks. My name is Ryan and this is my retro gaming Perler Beading YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you are having a wonderful day. I've got a great video for you. I thought I would come in with a video where I talk about what Perler bead colors I use. So believe it or not, there are actually about 91 different colors or varieties or shades of Perler beads. And then if you go with the other companies out there, you actually have different kinds of, you have more shades of beads. So you have Perler, you have Art Call, you have Hamas beads, and there are a few other smaller companies that have beads as well. So if you add all those shades into the mix, you have well over 200, 300 different colors of beads. So what I want to do with this video today is narrow it down a bit and show you what I use, how I store my beads, and also lay out the different shades of beads. If you enjoy this content that I make and you get value from it, please take a second and like this video. And if you're interested, please subscribe as well, as I try to bring a new video out every week. Before we get too far into this, I do want to say that there is a question that I see a lot. And this question is, can you use the different brands of beads, for example Hamas and Perler, together in the same project? Let's say you have a really nice pink color you want to use, but Perler doesn't make that color, so you go with Art Call, and then you have a Perler color that you want to blend well with that. What I've read, and I haven't experienced this myself, but if you try to put these colors together, the melt points are different. So that is to say that the Perler bead is going to melt faster than the other kind of bead. So you don't want different melt points because you're never going to get an even melt. For example, take a look at this Mario from Mario Kart that I made. You see how all of the holes are even all across the board, as close as I can get them. Well, if you had different beads with different beads, different brands, some of those holes are going to be bigger, some of them smaller, because they all have a different heat point. So just something to keep in mind if you're trying to mix these brands together. So without further ado, let me show you how I store my beads, and we'll talk about the colors I use. Okay, so you can see I have two big storage containers. These I actually purchased from Amazon. Very good price. I think each of them was about $19 to $20. And let's look at them up close. So what I really like about these is that they have a smaller container. These containers are great for the 1,000 bead bags. And then down here at the bottom you actually have plenty of space for at least half of the 6,000 bead bags. So I got light brown here, and if I put in half of the 6,000 beads, so about 3,000 beads, it will fill it up, and that really will last you a long time. So there's 6 of those big bins. And then you have 6 by 5 of the smaller bins, so about 30. So 36 bins all together. And I actually have 2 of them side by side. And it works very well for me. I was able to fit in all my colors, and I even have an extra one here with nothing in it. Just some other things that I have laying around. So great investment. I highly recommend it, and it will be in the description below, so make sure to check out that link. On the back of these, they actually have some screw holes. You can actually hang them on the wall, so that might be good if you have small children or animals. You don't want your beads falling all over the place. So one thing I do want to say about my beads is that I took a good bit of time to figure out how to organize them, how to label them. So I highly recommend making a label for each bead container. So this is gray, and I have one for each color. It's really great to organize your beads, that way you know where they're at and you actually start to develop a muscle memory, which makes your beading go faster. So highly recommended. Okay, now we're starting with the darker reds, purples. Going from there, this is eggplant, mulberry. What great colors these are. Then we have cran apple, a perfect fall color. Rust goes very well with cran apple. You see it's a little bit lighter here. And now we have some really beautiful shades of purple. One of my favorites to use is iris. I love the way this color pops. And then going into grape and purple, pastel lavender, and regular lavender. And you can see the differences. Some really great shading can be done using the pastel lavender and the regular lavender. And there's quite a bit of a difference between grape and purple, you can see here. And then you're going into the iris, you're getting into the blue territory. But what great colors. And there's the purples. And here are the blues. How beautiful they are. So we're starting with midnight blue, which is a really great color if you want something that's a little different than the dark blue. Just for example, you can see the difference. There's dark blue here. And then there's midnight. So midnight's actually darker than dark blue, believe it or not. And then we have slate blue, which is actually different from pewter. So this is pewter here. Slate blue has more of a blue to it, of course. And then you go into the denim, like denim jeans, cobalt. And we have turquoise, nice color. Sky, love sky blue, love the brightness of it. We have pastel blue and clear blue. This pastel blue, use that quite a bit. I don't use very much of the clear blue, but there it is. It's a nice clear color. Then we have periwinkle blue and blueberry cream, and believe it or not, periwinkle blue is discontinued. I don't know why. I really love this color, but if you can't find periwinkle blue, blueberry cream is a very close match. You can see the different colors here. And also the slate blue is not too far off from the periwinkle. And then you have blue jewel, which is a mix of different kinds. Alright, now what we have here are the greens, and some of them bleeding into the dark, almost blue color, the light, sort of bluish green colors with a little tint of green. So I'm just going to go over all of these. First we have with the darkest, we have a dark spruce. And there's the difference between the dark spruce and the forest and evergreen. And I used to think that these three did not really have much of a difference, but when you see them beside each other, you can tell a difference. So again, there's evergreen. I really like evergreen. And you have the forest color and dark spruce, very dark. Moving from those, we have lagoon, teal, and then some lighter colors, toothpaste, and robin's egg. So here's a closer look. Robin's egg, toothpaste, teal, and lagoon. Yes, lagoon. I've used this for Luigi's pants before. And then going over to the other colors, we have olive. So I have a big thing of olive, and then moving into sage and fern. I really love the sage color. It has such a great shade to it. So there's sage, and then we go into the light green, pastel green, and kiwi lime. Kiwi lime is a really fantastic color for Yoshi. And then as we look at the other ones, again, you see some great differences in the shades. And now that I look at light green, it is a little bit more blue, but so-called light green. So there are the greens. Oh, and you can't forget about the old standby dark green. It actually comes in the 6,000 bead pack. Some people don't know that. Speaking of fall, because right now it is actually fall time here in North Carolina, and we have the browns, and you could actually fit rust in here as well if you wanted to. So let's start with the darkest. We have the regular brown, but I call it the dark brown. We have light brown. See the difference there? And we have gingerbread, which is actually darker than light brown. So I'm just going to swap these around because the gingerbread is a bit darker, a bit redder. And then you have the rust butterscotch. Use it very frequently. Cheddar, honey, and there's the difference between honey and cheddar. Not much of a difference if you needed to sub out the honey. It is a bit darker. I'm not sure if you can tell, but it is quite a bit darker than the cheddar. And then you have tan and fawn, which actually don't have very much of a difference, but if you're making a piece with different shades of cream, you definitely have a darker shade with tan, and then a lighter shade with fawn. And I'm going to go ahead and throw in this cream color. This goes more so with the yellows, but I'll throw it in here. So we also have cream. And there you go. Alright, now this would be our grays and whites off-white group. So starting off over here, we have my favorite, dark gray. Then going into the gray, which is quite a bit lighter than the dark gray, but then you say gray because we also have the light gray, and you can see the difference between the two. There's another shade lighter than the regular gray. You have the dark gray, and in between those we have the more greenish looking charcoal, and then we have the pewter, a lighter shade of that gray green, and then over here we have toasted marshmallow and the old standby white, which of course needs to be paired with black. There's your white and your black beads. And now we have a pretty small group for the yellows. I threw in the cream here because I thought it just fits well with these. So we have the yellow, standard yellow, really great, bright color. And then you can see the difference between yellow and pastel yellow. I love the pastel yellow, so that's that. And then we have cream, and you can see there's a pretty big difference between cream and pastel yellow, and there are all three colors. And here are some reds. We have the red, which is standard red. We have cherry, which is a really nice dark red color. You can see the difference here. It's a bit of a difference, hard to see on camera, but it's there. And then you have the hot coral, which is a great color. And I'll fit back in the crayon apple so everybody can see how crayon apple fits into the reds. So very nice red selection there. Be nice to see a pastel red. That would be really cool. And we have our orange colors. So starting over here, we have tangerine, standard orange, and apricot. Look up here, you can see the shade differences. Very nice. I love the tangerine color. I do use that sometimes. And that's a really great dark color to the standard orange. And last but not least, we have our pinks. And when I look at these, sometimes I think, are they more red? Are they more purple? Hard to tell sometimes. But let's go through this last group together. I'm surprised I have so many different shades of these colors. Orchid, plum, rose, magenta, pink, light pink, peach, salmon, and blush. So here are some top-down views of them. So we got the orchid going into plum. And we have rose going into magenta. Very different, two very different colors there. Pink and magenta side by side. They are quite different as well. Magenta is more red. Pink and light pink. Believe it or not, there's a huge difference there. Then we have peach, salmon, and then blush. Salmon and blush are actually pretty close, with the blush being the lighter of the two. A really great color combination. And there you have it. I hope you enjoyed that thorough look at my Perler Bead collection, the colors that I have chosen to work with. Would I suggest getting all of these colors right off the bat? No, of course not. It took me about a year to collect these different colors. I have the colors that work for me. So you use this video, and I want you to find the colors that work for you. I would highly recommend going through, looking at those differences in shade, and thinking about what kind of perlers you want to make. I do recommend having a full spectrum of colors, because the more colors you have, the more options you have. It just makes them look more well-defined, just like if you're looking at a painting that's flat versus a painting that has lights and shadows and all of the in-betweens. It makes a total difference, and the same goes for perler beading. So if you enjoyed this video, like I said in the beginning, please make sure to let me know by leaving a like, subscribing if you wish, and please also leave down in the comments a little note that says what your favorite colors are, And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Have a great day, and until next time, happy beading.